Once upon a time, in the heart of a great kingdom surrounded by vast rivers and towering mountains, there lived a mighty and wise king named Nyarigwe. His kingdom was one of prosperity and peace, where the people were content, and the lands yielded bountiful harvests. King Nyarigwe ruled with strength and justice, but there was one thing that troubled him deeply. He has so many princesses that he doesn't know who to choose as the crown prince. King Nyarigwe's harem was vast, with wives from different tribes, each one beautiful and skilled in the ways of their people. As his health began to wane, the king grew more anxious. He called upon his elders and wise men to find a solution, for he feared what would happen to the kingdom if he did not select a crown prince before he died. The wise men gathered in the royal palace, deep in thought. After a long discussion, they devised a plan. The king would hold a grand competition, open to all the sons of his wives. The task would be simple but difficult. Whoever could prove themselves the wisest, bravest, and most capable would be named the crown prince and succeed the throne. The news spread quickly across the kingdom, and all the sons of the king's many wives prepared themselves for the challenge ahead. Among the king's wives, there were 3 who stood out. First was Queen Adama, the daughter of a great warrior tribe, who had given the king 2 sons, Kofi and Kwame. The second was Queen Amma, a daughter of a respected merchant family, who had 1 son, Sika. And the third was Queen Asantewa, a wise woman from the mountains, who had a son named Bafor. All 3 queens were determined to see their sons take the throne, but they knew that only one would win. The competition was set in motion on a warm, sunny morning. King Nyarigwe stood before his people, watching with a heavy heart as the young princes assembled. The task would involve a series of trials, each designed to test a different virtue: wisdom, bravery, and strength. The first trial was a test of wisdom. The young princes were given a riddle that had been passed down through generations. It was said to have been written by the gods themselves, and could only be answered by those with great intellect and understanding of the world. The riddle went as follows. I am not seen, but I am everywhere. I am not heard, but I am always present. I am not touched, but I shape the land. What am I? The princes gathered in a circle, and the sound of their thinking filled the air. After many minutes of silence, Kofi, the eldest son of Queen Adama, stepped forward. His eyes sparkled with the light of understanding. The answer is the wind, he declared confidently. The crowd murmured in approval. The wind was indeed invisible, silent, and yet it shaped the earth, bending trees and sweeping the sands. King Nyarigwe nodded, impressed by Kofi's wisdom. The second trial was a test of bravery. The princes were led to a dark forest, rumored to be haunted by fierce spirits. The task was simple. Each prince must enter the forest and retrieve a rare flower that only bloomed once every 100 years. The flower, known as the soul's heart, was said to bring great fortune to the one who dared to face the dangers of the forest. Sika, the son of Queen Amma, was the first to enter the forest. He was known for his courage, and he ventured deep into the woods without fear. Hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the land. The people waited anxiously, whispering prayers for the young prince's safety. Just as the night grew darker, Sika emerged from the forest, his arms laden with the precious flower. The crowd cheered, and King Nyarigwe smiled, proud of his bravery. But the trials were not over, for there was still the final test. The third and final trial was a test of strength. The princes were taken to the foot of the great mountain, and each was asked to climb to the peak and return with a stone from the mountain's summit. The task was grueling, and many had failed in the past, but the king had faith that his sons would persevere. Bafor, the son of Queen Asantewa, was known for his incredible strength and endurance. He began the climb, his muscles straining with each step, his heart full of determination. The others followed, but it was Bafor who reached the peak first. He returned to the bottom with the stone, his face glowing with triumph. As the trials came to an end, King Nyarigwe called his sons before him. His heart was torn, for each prince had proven himself in his own way. But the time had come to make a decision. With great wisdom, the king spoke. I have seen the courage, strength, and wisdom of each of you. But the heart of a king is not just in his mind or his muscles, but in his ability to unite the people. The one who will succeed me must not only be brave and strong, but wise enough to lead with compassion and fairness. The king paused and then smiled, his heart at peace. I have decided that the crown prince will be none other than Kofi, for his wisdom is beyond his years, and he will lead this kingdom into a new era of prosperity. Kofi bowed before his father, grateful and humbled. The other princes, though disappointed, accepted the decision, for they knew that the kingdom's future was in good hands. And so, King Nyarigwe passed on the crown to his son Kofi, who ruled with wisdom and compassion, bringing peace and prosperity to the kingdom for many years. And thus, the kingdom flourished, with King Kofi on the throne, ever guided by the teachings of his father, King Nyarigwe, who had known that true leadership comes from the heart.